right now, what stories or experiences do you have, Sean? And I'm talking about personal stories. I'm not talking about experiments or content. What stories or experiences do you have in your life that could be a valuable lesson for other people?
Man, so I feel like I have so many. That's why I created this page because I have failed so many times, and yet we only hear from the people who have climbed to the top of the mountain. And I feel like people like me who have failed so many times still have valuable lessons to share. I feel like that's a story in itself. I think I even made a video like that. I've failed in the past couple of years, 6 businesses, and because of that, I felt like I didn't have the right to post. I felt like I didn't have
Wow.
the right to post because you only hear from people. Like I wanted to be in this educational space. I also wanted to. I felt like I've been studying this for so long. I felt like I had stuff to share, but because I don't have like $100 million in my bank account, or because I haven't sold a business, or because I haven't achieved some like weird financial arbitrary number, that I wasn't allowed to speak on it. So like my whole page, I feel like there's so many stories just within it as itself. But yeah, man. I mean, if you have a specific direction of story that you want me to go,
I would
I
go,
could
yeah, I would
riff
even
so many stories.
first first of all, that's great. And I have like probably 10 failed businesses that I've done Google AdWords, printing.
Yep.
I mean, just you name it. I have so many. But I would say you could even go to childhood, even childhood, like just paint a picture for me of of something that I don't see on your page. That's something that I would think about. Like that's a prompt for you to like write down notable experiences. They could be difficult experiences, they could be just bizarre experiences. Maybe you traveled somewhere and something happened, and like something that has tension, something where there's high stakes. Like an example. I mean, I don't know. It could be. I think people don't have that boring lives. I think it's more about how they tell it. But it's sometimes hard to gauge because I've
Hold on. That was good. That one struck a chord with me. I just want to write that down, maybe for you to think about a little bit more.
okay.
That was good. People don't have boring lives. They
Yes.
just don't. I would love to see content on that, man. That's
Can you?
cool.
Yeah, please send that to me. That's really good.
Yeah, of course, of course.
Um, but and I hate to do this, I'm now gonna reverse that and say it's hard for me to gauge because I have lived in like in like 7 different countries, and I've been arrested for weapon smuggling in Ukraine, and I've been almost killed my friend in a motorcycle accident, and I've almost drowned, and I've had all these different fucking stories. But I'm guessing a lot of people have bizarre things that have happened to them
Yeah, yeah,
along the way that they maybe just don't know. Maybe we have to ask the right questions and bring it out. But can you think of one thing, maybe one just
yeah, yeah.
bizarre story that has happened to you
Yeah,
in your life?
I was just about to share one actually.
Yeah.
Um, Now this one, let me say, and this is why I would love a page that teaches me how to tell a story, because I'm going to tell you guys this story, and I don't know if it's going to be interesting or not because I don't
Okay,
know how
here
this one.
unfiltered. Here's no filter.
Yeah,
Then we'll structure it
I,
into a reel.
exactly.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you guys like the really whatever the Yap style version of it, and I'm gonna try
Yeah.
to pull up the post as I do it. So in 2019, chat, was it 2019? Yeah, 2019. I got a job working with a Microsoft startup. It was my first, I guess you could say, big boy job. Um, and I was working at a grocery store, and so I got this job at a Microsoft startup. We were selling Microsoft Business Central, which is product by Microsoft that goes for anywhere between $500,000 to over $1 million for print manufacturing businesses. So super complex, super boring, and super expensive. And this was my first time doing sales too. So I was like, holy shit, this is probably not the not the first sales job I should have gotten. But
Okay.
anyways, uh, my team or whatever, the company that I joined, there was no training at all. It was just like, hey, I think you'll figure it out. Just watch YouTube videos and figure out how to sell. So they gave me pretty much a completely flexible schedule, fully remote, and they said, just watch, try to figure it out. So I read a ton of books about sales and watched a ton of YouTube videos. I went down a really crazy rabbit hole where I was like trying to work for um, a really well-known sales influencer for a little bit just so I can learn. And I took, I guess, what I had learned, and I started making cold calls to random print businesses as a 19-year-old kid with no sales experience. And I was making like 100 to $200 a day. It was just absolutely like, man, painful. I was getting rejection after rejection after rejection, even after watching and reading all these books. And I was getting better, at least with like the openings of the call, but I was never able really to get anything further because I'm pitching someone on $500,000 to $1 million software solutions as a random kid calling on a phone. So it was very difficult until one day, because during this time I also was growing a TikTok page. This is my first foray into social media, and I had grown that page in the comedy space like 86,000 followers at the time. And I was like, wait a second, what if I just try to take my skill set of video creation, and what if I just send a video to someone who I'm trying to reach out to? And this particular experiment was, I sent this video to like a Fortune 1000 print company. Like they had like 100 employees. I think they were doing over 100 million a year in annual revenue, and as a print company, crazy. And anyways, I took my comedy skill set with TikTok and I made a skit video. It was about me playing basketball. Let me see if I can find the Facebook post. But it was me playing basketball. I'll just tell you guys a story, then I'll try to find the details after. But it was me playing basketball, and it was me doing like this training montage, kind of like Rocky, trying to get better at shooting my shots. And I thought it would be like a funny analogy of like how many times I'm shooting and trying to score like someone to talk to me. And also the guy that I sent this to he was a print operation guy, but by day, and he was a basketball coach by night. So I was like, maybe this will resonate with this guy. And sure enough, it did. He watched the video and he was like, this is hilarious and like really, really well personalized, because this was on LinkedIn where everyone's used to just like AI slop.
Yeah.
And so he took it to his company. They showed it on the projector to their entire company. These people were based in Canada, and they ended up reaching back to me via email, and they're like, we loved your video so much, and we're actually in the market right now for these types of software solutions, that we would like to fly you and your team out for you guys to spend 3 days at the warehouse and pitch us in person on your solution. And so I went from like this 19-year-old kid with like very little sales, literally no sales experience at all, to sending that basketball skit video to a printing company. That they ended up flying us out to Canada, and we ended up closing the biggest deal in the company's history.
In which company's history?
The company I was working for.
Okay,
Yeah.
and it's sold a Microsoft product?
Yeah. It was a super expensive Microsoft product, and I sold the largest deal in the company that I was working for in their history. So I went from like literally just this random kid to that experience from a basketball skit that I had made. So pretty cool. That's maybe a story that I've been thinking about sharing at some point. I just don't know how to structure it.
Okay, first of all, fascinating story. That's wild story. That's is very memorable and interesting. Do you want some feedback?
Yeah, of course. I literally, I just was speaking off the top of my head. I don't know how to structure it or anything.
Okay. So if you write this story,
Mm-hmm.
you'll see how much fat there is to trim, because when you write something out, you're able to look at what's there. The key is like, you want to trim the fat and keep the high stakes, right? There's no extra conversations in the Odyssey, right? There's no, hey, how was your day? Oh, my day was good. It's like, no, are we going to die? Yeah, I think they're coming to try to kill us. Okay, so let's run away from them and get onto the boat. And then the next issue already begins, right? So, so let's say the hook is selling a $1 million Microsoft product. That's not a great hook, so do something maybe better, but like, yeah, I would think of something bizarre for the hook to like express the whole story summarized. But then I would iterate on that, like maybe write a basic one and then work on it over next week. Just like come back to it, see it, revise it again.
Yep.
Write the story down, just write the on-screen hook, then write a summary of the story, and then write a few bullet points. That's it. And then see how much you can trim from that. Like the TikTok page is cool, but that only takes up like 7 words. At the time, I started a TikTok page for fun. So you want to just, if you're going to do this in a reel, if you're going to do it in a longer form, I would still do this. I would still trim the fat. And maybe, you can also, another thing you can do. So number one feedback is trim the fat. So
Okay.
anything that's extra is actually taking away from the story. This is, Harry Dry, copywriting basics. He has a free masterclass on that. I'm guessing you might have heard of it. Do you know that masterclass, Harry Dry?
I don't. Mm-mm.
Ooh, okay. I don't know who's been gatekeeping this from you. It's free. This is
It's about
such,
storytelling?
bro, this is about copywriting, but it is
Oh, beautiful.
incredible for storytelling because it's the same thing. It's story, it's writing. Um, okay, this is with David Perel on okay, I'm sending this to you now. This is one of the first things I send pretty much every client as there's two parts of it. One is we're building the strategy for them, and then the other one is they're also growing as a person, as a storyteller while we work with them, right? So I just sent it to you. Really, really, really good. Definitely check this out. This will make you a better storyteller for sure.
Oh, beautiful.
Um,
All right.
yes. Yeah, and then by the way, after you see this, go watch any clip of Tony Robbins, and your wheels will be turning. You'll be like, oh, okay, I see what he's doing. Because Tony Robbins, even if you don't like him, you watch one of his videos and you're like, midway, you're just crying. You're like, why am I crying right now? Well, he does everything that David Perel and what's his name discuss. He's very visual. So yeah, I mean, maybe a little bit more visual. Like, give me a visual of what that office looks like. I think would be a little bit
Okay.
would be interesting, or like a visual of you, or a visual. Give me some sort of visual to attach myself to. But that's it. This is a really interesting story.
I
What is the lesson of this story? That could also be a
That's so okay. I love that you asked
what's the
that because,
lesson?
and that's also why I'm like, this would be so valuable to find a creator that talks about this, because I just gave you guys a whole story, and I didn't even think about what the lesson is. So, and there's also another thing too. I didn't talk about the stakes. What I failed to mention, which is why this conversation is so helpful and content like this is so helpful. What I failed to mention is during this time I was full. What is the term? Commission only. So
Oh,
this deal did not close for 9 months. So I like there are huge stakes to this story that I totally forgot to mention, because I literally drained my bank account for 9 months because I had no income. Um,
mm,
and this deal was my only hope. I literally was like,
okay. Wait, I'm just jumping in. Sorry, I'm just jumping in. Flo, just write this down. So, like, broke 19-year-old
yep.
selling a $1 million product. That might be a good hook. I don't know. Just
And
write it down.
but that again, chat, like this is why like this exercise and content like this to me at least would be super valuable, hopefully to you guys, because there are huge stakes to this. Like I said, I was totally broke. Um, I was commission only. It had been 9 months, and this was the only deal really in my pipeline. Like I mean, there were some other like small wins throughout the way, sure, but like that's basically it for the most part. And yeah, so like just imagining like, okay, for 9 months, no income, literally hoping that this works through. If not, like I don't know. I guess I just had to find another job or whatever. But there's some serious stakes. Now, the lesson that I learned from this is what taught me, and I still use this to the day. Today, like whenever I am trying to connect with someone I really admire, it taught me a lot about personalization, but
Mm,
a unique way to personalize a message. Like when I talk to, for example, I did this last month. There's a creator that I really admire that I wanted to connect with, and I sent him a close friends story. I just put myself and this creator on the close friends, and then I made a video. I was like, hey, so and so, I'm making a video, blah blah blah, blah, and I just talked about what I wanted. I wanted to connect with him and just talk to him, whatever, see if I can learn from him. I knew that he would respond because when someone tags you in close friends, you get a notification that one, you were tagged in a story, and then two, when he clicks on the story, it's the first thing I had was like at his name right on the story. So it's like, okay, I just knew that it was going to get his interest, even though this guy has millions of followers. He has thousands of DMs. I knew if I did this close friend story and I made it super personalized to him, and also by him checking out my page, he can see like I'm referencing stuff from my content that I applied from him. Like I knew it would work. And I learned that from this basketball video. It's like if I can personalize a message properly and use, video, of course, but if I could really, really personalize, then I can get in front of or at least connect with people I really admire. That was the central takeaway. And that still works today. Like a lot of the people that I really admire, I've been able to connect with one-on-one because of what I learned from that basketball video. So, yeah.
Yeah, great story, great lesson.